All right. Another day, more grifting from Mr. Tatum. And we're going to get on into it in this video. So come on in. He has dropped another installment, and we're going to get on into this gig. All right. So if you guys have not been keeping up with my latest videos, we have been covering the Nolan Wells situation. And we have been going over the videos that Officer Tatum has been dropping. Now, this is the fourth video for this saga, and we finally find out why he was in possession of Nolan's phone. We hear his explanation. Now, he stutters through the direct questions, and you see how difficult it is for him to try to remember what seems like a script. And we're going to go on over it. Now, I'm going to start off with the portion where he says that they lawyered up. He said, of course we lawyered up. Like, duh. We had to hurry up and get lawyers. Let's hear it.
So I got two more things I want to address directly. It's been said out there that you guys immediately delete your social media, lower it up, as if you were in some type of fear that you would be implicated in this. What do you say to that?
I mean, of course we lowered up, and of course, I deleted my social media.
Trout, we got a lot to go over. We're going to run it up to the top because this is supposed to be the final installment that lets us know why they had the phone. And this is supposed to exonerate and prove the friend's innocence. Now, as you guys know, Officer Tatum oversold this bogus interview where he asked no follow-up questions, didn't press him on anything, didn't make sure he clarified anything. He would ask him a question, and then when he would respond, the boy wouldn't even answer the question that he asked him. Officer Tatum would never redirect him to the actual question that he asked. And it was just this curated, heavily edited, PR damage control, no proof, none whatsoever video. Now, he told us that he was going to show us proof that they had nothing to do with it. He had evidence of this and evidence of that. And the only evidence that we care about is what happened when they made it back to shore. Now, in one of the previous videos that I covered, he showed us where there was this surveillance footage that showed them at 10 in the morning. Well, we know that they went to the island together. We saw pictures of them together, so we know that they went to the island together. That's not in dispute. We want to know what happened after. So if you were truly trying to show evidence and proof, you would have proved that they reached the island once they left Horn Island without Nolan, that it was, you would have shown us their demeanor once they got off the boat after they left Horn Island, not when they were going to Horn Island. So he didn't show us any proof of anything. And the evidence that he has is us just taking this boy's word for it. So if the boy said it, then that's the evidence. And that's not how receipts and evidence work. That's a witness statement, but that is not evidence. Evidence would be something that corroborates what he's saying. All we have is that video of them going to the island, and then we have nothing else to substantiate or corroborate anything. Okay? So, also too, what was very interesting is towards the end of this fourth grift, where he is maximizing his top dollar and stretching this out as much as he can to make more money than Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton. He called them the money grifters, but he's squeezing out every dime that he can. In the fourth installment, he wanted to know from Warren hey, well, why did you decide to pick me? Why did you decide to come to my platform? And Warren stated that he's a big fan of Officer Tatum. Okay, they watch his stuff. He's a fan of them, and even Nolan is a fan of Officer Tatum. Now, I would be interested to know if Nolan actually was a fan of his, because that would tell me a lot. But the fact that they claim that they have no like nothing is about race or nothing is about this, and then you want us to believe that you're a fan of the biggest sellout, somebody who focuses his entire platform on trying to find the worst possible things about Black people, the person who has on nothing but negative things to say about Black people. His whole platform is to appeal to races and curate white fragility. You mean to tell me that that's who you're a fan of, and you want me to believe that this type of person is the type of person that you watch, but you want us to think that you actually had good intentions with Nolan and you treated him as an equal, and that's who you watched? And if this was actually somebody that Nolan also was a fan of, then, I mean, let's be real. I need the parents to come to the front of the congregation. We need answers, because if this is somebody that Nolan was a fan of, then, you know, hey, I would feel very differently about how I look at this case. All right. So, with that being said, let's bring this video to the top. All right, let's bring it to the top. And
people are still out there partying and
Correct.
they're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, calm down. Like, the boat could possibly sink, and Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan.
All right, so he's showing things that they previously went over. Now, he gets into this fourth interview where he softballs him, doesn't ask him anything clarifying, because if you're truly trying to seek for answers, you're going to ask a question, and if the person dodges the question like Warren does, you redirect them to answer the question. He never does that. Like, he lets whatever he says fly and moves on to the next thing like we got the answers, and doesn't make the audience aware of what's really happening here, like to really get a grasp of it. But since his audience is a bunch of white supremacists, the bare minimum is good for them. Like, that's it. Like, they don't need much. All they need is, oh, they said they didn't do it? Okay, yeah, such a good kid. This is such a good, loving, genuine kid. Like, they need the very bare minimum, like, literally. All right, so.
By law enforcement, all of you guys have given statements. But then I think that there's a part associated with this that's being rumored out in the public, and that is the situation with the cell phone, potential deletion of messages, how the cell phone was retrieved. And I just want you to tell your side of this, because what we're getting from the media is that they literally had to, I don't know, coerce you guys into giving it back. You didn't know where it was at. You were hesitant to give the phone over. Almost as they had to turn your wrist or twist your arm just to give it back. Right. Well, what happened with the cell phone thing? So let's go back to the first engagement you had when it comes to the family or somebody coming back to get the cell phone and keys. When did that occur, and what happened there?
Okay, well, that night, about 12:30, I went back to my buddy's house.
And you said the night of the 4th?
The night of the 4th, but it was about 12:30, I would like to say. And so I went back to my buddy's house. So I stayed the night before, where we all met up, and stayed together the night before. And my buddy got a call from this guy, and the guy was like, oh, like what's going on with all this Nolan stuff? Very aggravated. I mean, yeah, every right to be, but I mean, we were trying to calm him down, and like he was just like, oh, like where y'all at? My buddy.
All right. So for those of you guys watching, I'm gonna be switching between the video and the transcripts just to make it transformative, and if he ever like tries to do like a claim on my video, I can edit out the video but still have the transcript portion. All right. So he wanted to know about the phone, right? And again, he always goes around in circles when he's answering any type of question. All right. So he says, all right. And so you said the night of the 4th. And then he says, but it was about 12:30. I would like to say, and so I went back to my buddy's house. I stayed the night before where we all met up, you know, and stayed together the night before. And my buddy got a call from this guy, and the guy was like, oh, like, you know, what's going on with all this Nolan stuff? Very aggravated. I mean, yeah, he had every right to be, but I mean, he was we were trying to calm him down, and like he was just like, oh, like, where are y'all at? My buddy said, you know, we're at my buddy's house. And he said, all right. And then he just hung up. And about 30 minutes later, I'd like to say, all of a sudden, the door just opened and slammed. And there was a girl who walked in, like probably about 8 or 9 guys behind her. And then a mom, that which was Javon's mom. And then Ruckus says, who is Javon? I want to put that in perspective. Who is Javon? And then he says, Javon is one of Nolan's good friends. He's a friend of mine too, you know, like a great guy. And his mom and their family is, you know, very close with, you know, the Wells family. And I mean, so I don't know why she was there, like what was going on, but I was very surprised by this. I was like, you know, like you just basically kicked the door open and, you know, busted up in the house with no knock or anything. So he's saying that they contacted him and they wanted to know, where are y'all at? And because, mind you, at this specific time, Nolan's mother is trying to track down his phone. They're trying to find where Nolan is. They're trying to find what's going on. And they haven't figured out or heard from Nolan because they left him. And so they also are trying to track his phone. So when they track his phone, they see where he is, but they want to know from them, where are y'all at? And it sounds like he didn't tell them exactly where he was at. He just said, oh, I'm at my buddy's house. Buddy house where? You know, like he didn't say, oh, I gave him the address. I told him where we were. No, he said that he just told them, I'm at my buddy's house. And then they hung up the phone and pulled up. So when they pulled up, they got to business. Like, what's T? Like, where's Nolan? What's going on? Like, where's his stuff? All right. So they're all surprised and shocked and, oh my God, look at these black people in the house, you know, type of thing.
Buddy said, you know, we're at my buddy's house. And he said, all right. And then he just hung up. And so about 30 minutes later, I'd like to say, all of a sudden the door just got open and slammed. And there was a girl who walked in and like probably about 8 or 9 guys behind her. And then another mom, which was Javon's mom. And
who's Javon? I want to put that in perspective. Who is Javon?
Javon is one of Nolan's good friends. He's a friend of mine too, you know, like great guy. And his mom and their family is, you know, very close with, you know, the Wells family. And I mean, so I don't know why she was there, like what was going on, but I was very surprised about this. I was like, you
know why she was there. I I don't know why she was there, what was going on. You know why she was there. What did they say they were there for? They're trying to find Nolan, and they're trying to get his phone. His phone is being tracked. They see his phone is with you guys. I don't know why she was there. I mean, what did she ask you for? Take a wild guess why she was there. Like, what? And let me know how my mic sounds. I changed some of the settings on my mic, and I don't know if it sounds better or worse, but I played around with some of the settings before I went live. So let me know if it sounds better than yesterday or if it sounds the same or whatever, what have you. But let's get to it. So he's acting clueless as to why they're there. Oh my God, look at these people. They just showed up. Like, huh? What are we talking about here, sir? Like, what's happening? All right. So then he says, they just bust through the door, you know. So then not Nolan, then Ruckus, right? Ruckus wants to act like, oh, you know, this ain't nothing about race. So his question to him is, what race is Javon? So he wants him to say that Javon is black. So the next thing that Ruckus asks is, so is Javon black or white? And then he says, Javon's mixed. I mean, and then he says, yeah, I guess he's mixed. Yeah. So, and then Ruckus says, so, but he's not white. And then he says, no, he's not white. Like trying to distinguish the fact that, look, guys, Warren has another black friend. And it's like, we already heard from Javon. We know that he has another black friend. Javon is the black friend that talked to TMZ first. We know that already. But he knows that his white supremacist, racist audience probably haven't paid attention to or dismissed the black people speaking because they only go in spaces where it's going to appeal to their racism. So he's like making sure, like, you know, TMZ has their audience. I got the racists over here. So let me make sure the racists know, you know, we got to get more ammo that these black people are making it all about race. And these black people are trying to act like it's just you white guys there. So let me make sure, you know. So, Trout.
You know, like you just basically like kick the door open and, you know, bust up in the house with no knock or anything.
So is Javon black or white?
Javon's mixed. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I guess he's mixed.
Yeah.
So, but he's not white.
No, he's not white.
Just white.
Yeah.
Or all white, I guess you might call it.
Yeah.
So then they come in the house. Do you know any of these people? And you said the mom, but do you know anybody else?
I've seen the mom before, and I know most of them. Most of the guys went to high school with me, and like I'm friends with some of the guys. I mean, you know, I know some of them. So eventually, like things started to get heated, and I was just like a guy I was friends with in high school. He was like, "Man, come outside with me," and I was like, "All right." And I walked outside with him.
Pause. Why are things getting heated? Officer Ruckus never clarifies anything because are they getting heated because you guys aren't trying to give up the phone? Are they being heated because you guys are not giving them answers? Why is things getting heated? But this isn't an interview to find the answers. This is an interview to just do damage control, and anything that he says that would require a follow-up clarifying question, he never clarifies it, because that would ruin the narrative that he's trying to curate for these boys, right? He has to keep it on the up and up. Like, oh, let's just brush past that.
He's like, man, I don't know why, like they're panicking, and like this is just like, I think Nolan's just on somebody's couch. He's been drinking all day. He's just messed up, and this is nothing that we have to worry about. As much as I sat there and I told him, I was like, I agree. I would think he's on somebody's couch, just had been drinking all day and just drank too much and was super intoxicated. And that's kind of what a lot of us thought, but they were kind of losing it and they were going crazy. And the mom that was with them demanded Nolan's phone, because Nolan left the phone on the boat. And when we ran in, Nolan didn't ask for his phone, and his keys were not on the boat because his car was parked at my buddy's house where we had all slept, the night before the 4th. And so the keys were left at the house because Nolan's car was at my buddy's house where we stayed at. So of course,
Nolan, no, you're glitching, sir. You're glitching. Why was it heated and what happened? Nolan, she demanded the phone and like and the keys weren't. You're glitching, sir. Spit it out.
She left his keys there, but his phone, he was drinking. He didn't have his phone in the water because no one did. And there was more than just Nolan's phone that wasn't on the boat with us.
And then he keeps repeating the same talking points. He didn't have his phone in the water because no one did. That right there lets you know that is a line and that is a buzzword that he has to make sure he hits. Whenever I have a pep talk with somebody and they're like, okay, make sure you go over this, make sure you go over that, make sure you go over this. And then it's like he keeps repeating these talking points. This is part 4, and you're still repeating the same buzzword that you did on 1, 2, and 3. You already told us that people didn't have their phone in the water. It's like he has to remember these buzzwords. Remember the buzzword that I gotta say. Remember that specific line and that the beat that I gotta hit. Like, y'all pick up what I'm putting down.
Nolan's car was at my buddy's house where we stayed at. So of course he left his keys there. But his phone, he was drinking. He didn't have his phone in the water because no one did. And there was more than just Nolan's phone that wasn't on the boat with us.
So it was more than just Nolan's phone that was on the boat.
Yeah, we obviously had all our phones, but on the boat. But those weren't the only people. Like, Nolan wasn't the only person that left a phone on the boat. There was a lot of people that left phones on the boat, not that didn't ride out or in with us. So we there was a couple phones that we had that we didn't know who they belonged to, and my buddies got that figured out, but it wasn't just Nolan's phone that was on the boat that who wasn't.
Name them. Who left their phone? Who else? I bet you if he would have asked him right then and there, who else left the phone other than him, he wouldn't have been able to answer. He would not have been able to answer. But Ruckus is not trying to get the real truth, so he's not going to follow up with that. He's just going to let him breeze past hoping that he's making a good impression for his audience. Okay? Like, am I a good Negro? Can y'all let me in the house? You know, I don't want to be a porch Negro. Like, I want to be a house Negro. Let me in. You know? Like, is this good for y'all? Like, that's all he's worried about. You know? A mess.
There, you know, there was a lot of phones.
So when they barged in, they started getting frantic. The mom asked for Nolan's phone.
Right.
Was there a struggle over it, or did you guys hand it over?
I mean, just handed it over. I mean, we didn't think anything of it. Like, you know, she asked for Nolan's phone. We knew they were close friends with, you know, the Wells family, and my buddy went out to his truck and handed the phone over. No.
You're glitching. You're glitching. There you go, glitching again. My buddy, like, what's my script? I'm glitching. What am I supposed to say?
Struggle over it, or did you guys hand it over?
I mean, just handed it over. I mean, we didn't think anything of it. Like, you know, she asked for Nolan's phone. We knew they were close friends with, you know, the Wells family, and my buddy went out to his truck and handed the phone over. No complications, no issue, you know, nothing. But I mean, I told Miss Christine that we had his phone and he had left it in our possession on the boat.
When did you? Miss Christine is Nolan's mom.
Correct.
When did you talk to her about that?
When I was on, no, I didn't talk to her once. Like, it was like 12:30. I mean, I might have texted her a couple times and, like, you know, talked briefly about a couple things, but.
You just said that you told her that you had the phone. Then when he said, when did you tell her that? Then you say 12:30. Well, you said that you were at your buddy's house at 12:30. Wasn't the first call that you made to her at 11 o'clock or whenever when you were at the Ava Girl pool party? I mean, well, you know, I was texting her and 12:30. I mean, you're glitching. You're glitching. Did you tell her that you had his phone and when? I told her, I mean, at 12:30, I was texting her and what is it, sir? Did they pull up on you before you told them that you had the phone, or did you tell her that you, like, when did you, what was it? You're glitching, sir.
And he had left it in our possession on the boat.
When did you? Miss Christine is Nolan's mom.
Correct.
When did you talk to her about that?
When I was on, no, I didn't talk to her once. Like, it was like 12:30. I mean, I might have texted her a couple times and, like, you know, talked briefly about a couple things, but I told her on the phone before I called the Coast Guard that we had Nolan's phone. Before I called Miss Christine, I asked, I was like, oh, well, where's his location at? Because Nolan has his Snapchat location on for me. And he said, you know, it's Wyatt said it's, you know, in my truck. Like, because everybody who left stuff on the boat, it was Wyatt's boat. So Wyatt put it in his truck, you know, like, it's normal. And so the phone was in possession in Wyatt's truck. And when that mom came over and asked for it, there was no issue at all with us giving the phone to her. I mean,
so if you guys were looking for Nolan and you didn't know that the phone was in Wyatt's truck, that means that when you were looking for him, you were calling his phone. So when the mom pulls up his call log, they're going to see you calling him surely before the Coast Guard, right? Like, you're going to be calling him. The other people are going to be calling him, right? Because you told the mom when you were about to call the Coast Guard, but when you guys were looking for Nolan before you got her number, surely you called him, right? And y'all figured it out. Like, that's not what you're saying. Like, you would think he would be saying, you know, when we start looking for him, we start calling his phone, and then we figured at that point that it was in the car, in the car. That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. That's not what he's saying. Let's listen back again.
Location at, because Nolan had his Snapchat location on for me, and he said, you know, it's Wyatt said it's, you know, in my truck, like, because everybody who left stuff on the boat, it was Wyatt's boat, so Wyatt put it in his truck, you know, like.
Let's go back a little more.
That we had Nolan's phone. Before I called Miss Christine, I asked, I was like, oh, well, where's his location at? Because Nolan had his Snapchat location on for me. And he said, you know, it's Wyatt said it's, you know, in my truck. Like, because everybody who left stuff on the boat, it was Wyatt's boat, so Wyatt put it in his truck, you know, like, it was normal. And so the phone was in possession in Wyatt's truck. And when that mom came over and asked for it, there was no issue at all with us giving the phone to her. I mean, Nolan just left it on the boat. We handed the phone to her that night of the 4th of July.
And did you guys go through the phone, or?
Of course not. I mean, none of us had a reason to go through Nolan's phone. I mean, there's multiple phones on the boat. Why would it be? And the boat was having issues. Why would our concern be getting on Nolan's phone or something? I mean, I don't even know Nolan's password. None of my friends do. We had no reason ever to get on Nolan's phone and look at anything.
Hey guys, somebody wants attention in the chat. Marilyn, I think she was here the other night. She's back. She wants attention. She put roaches as the emojis. And she says, I'ma laugh my A off when the toxicology report comes back and he was drunk. Underage drinking and the water doesn't mix. But y'all wouldn't know that. And then she put all of these roach emojis. I think you guys should definitely give Marilyn the attention that she wants. She desperately wants attention. They always desperately want attention from us. Like, they want so much attention from us. I mean, I know that, you know what I'm saying? You be looking at us and you be feeling like, damn, why I can't give what she giving? Like, I know. The obsession is real. Like, the obsession. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being a melanated goddess and then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Child obsession. Like, child obsession. But anyways, and Maryland, guess what? Underage drinking means what? That somebody over the age provided it. And guess what? That is a crime, Marilyn. But they've lawyered up and they've ran a script. So I'm sure that when it comes down to finding out who provided it, a dead man can't talk. So my guess is that they're going to blame Nolan for the alcohol. But let's continue.
I didn't even touch Nolan's phone. None of us touched Nolan's phone until somebody took it off the boat and put it in Wyatt's truck, and then no one touched it until we handed it back, you know, to the mom that was at my buddy's house.
Was that the only phone that she picked up, or was it other people's phone that they came and got? Or
that I know of, I think that was the only one that she had. Yeah, but I'm not completely sure. I think that's the only one that she took Nolan's. That's it.
And so
she took Nolan's. That's it. Because I'm willing to bet that's the only extra phone that was there. And that's the only phone that she came for.
On the 4th, where the night, probably going into the morning of the 5th, this happens. Then the dad comes back at some point to get the keys. Right. What happened there? When was this and what happened?
Well,
all right. So we're going to switch to transcript just to break up the video a bit. Are y'all giving Marilyn a warm welcome? So, anyways, it says, and so we're on the 4th. We're that night, probably going into the morning of the 5th. Then the dad comes back at some point to get the keys. What happened there? And then it says, when was this and what happened? And then so he replies and he says, well, my buddy Brooks drove me and dropped me off at my house. And I woke up to a text the next morning that Miss Christine texted me and she said, hey, Nolan's dad is there. And then it says, they're at my buddy's house to pick up the keys. And, you know, I just didn't think anything of it. I told her that I was praying for her and, you know, that we were out there and we were, you know, doing everything that we could to help out. And when he came to pick up the keys, and so this is what Ruckus says. When he came to pick up the keys, was there a confrontation or because I could have sworn I saw on the news that when he came to pick up the keys, it was almost like an altercation because you guys didn't want to get the keys over, or you said you didn't know where the keys were at. And it's always like in every single video, he throws out an accusation that none of us heard to have him debunk something that nobody said. I don't ever remember the dad saying that there was an altercation. If y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. Matter of fact, let me look it up. Did the dad say that there was an altercation? Did Nolan Wells' dad say there was an altercation when he went to pick up the phone? Anyways, I can't find anything on Google. You said on the news he said they had a heated back and forth. Which news? I want to pull it up because I don't remember that. But that I don't remember that. But let me know which interview was it, so we could go to it real quick. Which interview was it when he said that it was a heated thing to pick up the keys? I want to hear it. Which interview, guys? Come on, quickly. Help me out. Which one? They did a lot, so I don't know which one. Somebody said not altercation. He said the kids was heated. And then you said, I thought he meant the boys started freaking out a letter and had to calm them. All right, we'll figure it out during this live.
My buddy Brooks drove me and dropped me off at my house, and I woke up to a text the next morning that Miss Christina texted me, and she said, hey, Nolan's dad's there, is there at my buddy's house to pick up the keys. And, you know, I didn't think anything of it. I told her that I was praying for her and, you know, that we were out there and we were, you know, doing everything that we could to help out.
And when he came to pick the keys up, was there a confrontation? Because I could have sworn I saw on the news that when he came to pick the keys up, it was almost like an altercation because you guys didn't want to get the keys over, or you said you didn't know where the keys were at?
I mean, no, absolutely not. I mean, I wasn't there, but from what my friend told me, they just had to look for Nolan's keys. It's not like, why would we be hiding Nolan's keys? There's no reason to hide anything. You know, this is our friend. We have nothing to hide. I mean, we were trying to do everything that we could to help out.
All right, so I want to be clear with this one thing, because I know you mentioned before that you have no reason to touch the phone. Obviously, you didn't touch the phone.
Right.
But is there any chance or any knowledge that you have that anybody deleted?
Where his parents got the phone back, and that's something that's important, Michael, because they tracked this phone on Life 360.
So Life 360, but when I received the phone call from Warren, I immediately called my friend Toshima, and I said, "Hey, have you guys seen Nolan?" Because her two sons, Jalen and Javon, like they grew up together. They played city league sports together. When they got into school, they played sports together. And so she was like, hey, like, okay, the boys were pulling up the location from Snapchat. So the Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. Like I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. Like I'm not. He's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
Well, how were you able to get the phone?
So we tracked it, and my friend Toshima went and picked it up.
It wasn't like they said we got his phone. They tracked it, and that highlights all these contradictions, Michael. The fact that they said Nolan was talking to a young woman, and she said that he said, I'm going back to get on the boat with the boys. The boys said that he said he was going to stay with her. And so that's an obvious contradiction. And then this video of this, you can hear an argument going where Nolan is saying, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing? And so then his phone ends up missing. I don't know any teenagers, Michael Strahan, who says, if you believe that story, I'm gonna stay behind and I'm gonna leave my phone.
Let me try to see. When does the dad talk about going to get Nolan keys? I don't think that might not be here. The dad went to pick up keys. That might not be in this one.
Deleted stuff from his phone.
Absolutely not. I mean, like I said, there was no reason for us to get on Nolan's phone. No one touched Nolan's phone, but nothing. If none of us had touched Nolan's phone, then there's no reason for anything to be deleted. I mean, no one even was in contact with his phone until it was moved from the boat to the truck, and none of us have access to Nolan's password to get on his phone and delete anything. Absolutely not. And we have no reason to delete anything. I mean, there's nothing to hide here. I mean, we have had no reason to delete anything, and we never did.
All right, so I have something I want to make sure that we're clear about, because you had mentioned earlier that you saw Nolan cradling Katie.
Right.
Her name is Katie.
Yeah, Katie.
I just want you to explain, what does that mean?
Okay, so the situation with the key. When we got to the house, a few of his friends, they were already there, and they were at the door in the house asking questions. So when I walked up, they were getting, things were getting kind of tense. So I turned to them and told them, I need you guys to calm down. I don't do this to me right now. I need them to kind of trust me so they can give me something. So I was able to calm them down. So the guy, he's in one of the pictures, but he came out of the room, half asleep or whatever, I think Jax or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys so I can get his car. I said, he's like,
His car was in the yard.
His car's parked in the yard. So he was like, I don't know, man. Nolan's like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go in your room and see if you can find my son's keys so I can take his car home? He walks off, 2 or 3 minutes, come back. I can't find the keys. I said, okay. So at that point, I get the boys and I get to move them out the house because I didn't want them to go into the house and start tearing up these people's houses because then that would be a whole nother situation. So,
right. Can you imagine, like, Nolan is missing, his car is parked outside, and then you talk about you can't find his keys? Oh yeah, it's about to be some moving of the furniture up in there for real. And the dad is probably like, you know what? No. Like, let me get them together so that we could get this.
to walk outside by the car. One of the guys that was in the house with us, he was on the phone with a girl, and the girl told him that Nolan's keys were on top of this Jack's guy's Xbox in the house because apparently she was there with him earlier. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and 5 minutes later, the keys come out. So now I feel like you done lied to me. So now I'm really like in distress with you. But as far as their night goes, if I knew anyone who had a boat, I would have went out that night looking for my son. We tried, but I don't have friends with boats. But if I knew someone with one, I would have went out that night. And this so happened that his coach saw all the stuff on Facebook that next morning and called and contacted me at like 5 in the morning, asked me, did we want to go out? And I told him yes. So within an hour, he was at the dock. We met him and we went out. We docked the boat, got off the boat, walked on the island, walked a pretty nice stretch, came back, got back on the boat, went around the island, looked, came back around, and where we went to, that's where apparently they say that his body floated up. I don't know a lot about water currents over there, but I would think that we would have saw his body. Mm-hmm. And on the trip there was a family that stayed a night on the island, like actually tented out on the island. So if he was left, he would have saw that family on the island, and it was 2 other boats docked, so he would have had help. So I don't know. I don't know. I think we stayed there for like an hour and a half. That's when Jackson County and the sheriff department showed up, and they were going to do their rounds.
All right. So let me hear what he said about this again.
Have had no reason to delete anything, and we never did.
All right, so I have something I want to make sure that we're clear about, because you had mentioned earlier that you saw Nolan cradling Katie.
Right.
Her name is Katie.
Yeah, Katie.
I just want you to explain, what does that mean? Some people in their mind, they may think he's cradling, like, or any knowledge that you have that anybody deleted stuff from his phone.
Absolutely not. I mean, like I said, there was no reason for us to get on Nolan's phone. No one touched Nolan's phone, but nothing. If none of us had touched until it was moved from the boat to the truck, and none of us have access to Nolan's password to get on his phone and delete anything. Absolutely not. And we have no reason to delete anything. I mean, there's nothing to hide here. I mean, we have had no reason to delete anything, and we never did. All
right, so I have something I want to make sure that we're clear about, because you had mentioned earlier that you saw Nolan cradling Katie. Right. Her name is Katie.
Yeah, Katie.
I just want you to explain, what does that mean? Some people in their mind, they may.
Wait, where was the part about the keys? Did I skip forward too far? Anyways, we'll keep going.
They think he's cradling like a baby.
Yeah.
Like what is that scenario look like?
He was. I mean, Nolan was off. The last time I saw him, like I said, I was off the bow of the boat, and like I said earlier, if you had jumped off the bow of the boat, you were probably about chest or neck deep in water. So Nolan wasn't like carrying her out the water. She's sitting in the water, and Nolan's arms are under the water, and he's carrying her from under the water. But her head's still out of the water. Nolan's head's still out of the water. And I was looking at both of them. So.
Oh, so he's kind of like holding her.
Right.
Kind of like,
in the water, though.
I mean, like, we grown, right? There's 2 people in the water. They feeling each other.
Right.
Like, meaning feeling they like each other.
Right.
And
that was obvious.
He's a little more close to her, and they're kind of having a moment.
Correct.
Not saying and not insinuating that it's sexual, but
no, of course not.
They're together. They like each other. You looking at him.
Officer Spin the Narrative is such a funny guy, right? Such a funny guy. All right, so sorry that we have to switch from audio to transcript, but all right, so he says he claims that he has no reason to delete anything. So he says, all right, so I have something I want to add. So I want to make sure that we're clear about, because you had mentioned earlier that you saw Nolan cradling Katie. I think her name is Katie. I just want to know, I just want you to explain, what does that mean? Some people in their mind think, or they may think he's cradling like a baby. Like, what does that scenario look like? So he replies and he says, yeah, Nolan was off the last time I saw him. Like I said, off the boat, off the bow of the boat. And like I said earlier, if you had jumped off the bow of the boat, you were probably about chest or neck deep in the water. So Nolan wasn't like carrying her out the water. She's sitting in the water and Nolan's arms are under the water, and he's carrying her from under the water, but her head is still out of the water. Nolan's head is still out of the water. And I was looking at both of them. So, and then, so he's kind of like holding her, right? Right. In the water though. Like, we grown, right? There's two people in the water. They feeling each other, like meeting, like feeling like they like each other, right? And seems a little bit, seems more close to her, and they kind of having a moment. Not insinuating that it's sexual, but and then he says, no, they're together, like they like each other. You look at him, you're like, bro, you crazy, because he like her and he's hanging out with her. And he replies and he says, yeah, right, exactly, that makes sense. And then, when was the last time that you saw Nolan, and when was the last time that someone reported to you that Nolan was seen, if that makes sense? You saw him at a certain point, but then and then it says someone else saw him a lot later when you guys were gone. And then he says, right, okay, so the last time I personally laid eyes on Nolan was at like 3, and he was, front of the boat with the girl, and that's the last time I saw him. But there were, I've talked to somebody personally that saw Nolan at 6, and someone, we weren't the last people to see Nolan. We, once we left, there was still dozens on dozens on dozens of boats around us. And clearly we were not the last people to see Nolan. And then so Ruckus says, so Warren, I'm going to ask you some very pointed questions. Just straight out. And so he wants to act like he's really about to press him. He always acts like, I'm going to ask you some very pointed questions. And normally a person who's wanting to ask a very pointed question, they make sure that they get a very pointed answer, right? So the purpose of a pointed question is so that you can get a direct answer back. So every time he goes for these very pointed questions, it's always this beat around and all around the world answer to it. So let's go.
You like, bro, you crazy.
Yeah.
You
Front of the boat with the
come down here.
Dozens on dozens on dozens of boats around us. And clearly we were not the last people to see Nolan.
So Warren, I'm going to ask you some very pointed questions. Just straight out.
Okay.
I didn't come down here to, do anything other but to get the truth,
right,
and for you to have a voice in this.
Right.
And the first thing I want to ask you is, did you kill Nolan?
Of course not.
Did you have anything to do with Nolan's death?
Of course not. And absolutely not.
They say that you guys deleted stuff out of his phone. Did you delete anything out of Nolan's phone?
No, of course not.
The mom act like, or at least she portrayed on television, and the rumors are that you weren't really good friends with Nolan. Is that true?
Mind you, these are the very pointed questions. Like, we're really getting to the meat and potato of this. And this is the very thing that is going to break the case and give everybody the answers. Did you kill Nolan? Of course not. Did you delete the messages? Of course not. Like, boy, like he's the biggest joke ever. Like, he's such a joke. It's not even funny. But before we listen to more of that, now there was this call that came out, right? So in the midst of people trying to find answers about this, because people are like, listen, he has no emotion. He's talking monotone. He's talking casually. Like, and again, everybody's not a crier, but if you're going to recount things from a friend since middle school all the way up to college, and you guys are so close and you're like family, there are gonna be times where you're thinking back at points if you really truly loved your friend. Like, now there are friendships where the person is a tag along, which is like this is the token, because it sounds like Nolan was just the token, and unfortunately tokens get spent. And that, I don't mean that as disrespect to Nolan's family, but anyways, so he always describes Nolan as this add-on afterthought, like Nolan's begging to come with us. Nolan's always asking us, can he come on the boat? He's always asking us, can he come around? He's always like, he always makes it seem like, like Nolan's trying to desperately add on to their group, right? Like, he never describes it in a manner of like a group of friends. In high school, I had a core group of friends, and we always would go to certain functions together. We would always go to certain kickbacks. So whenever one of us would come, it wouldn't be like, oh, such and such is always trying to come. Of course, like, we like the same things. We get on the same, you know what I'm saying? We like the same functions. We like the same type of events. Like, I'm there, she there. Like, wherever I'm at, she at. Like, that's norm. Like, the way that he would always describe it is like he got his friendship with his crew, and Nolan was always trying to attach, but he's framing it like they're best friends. And that's just not how you talk about best friends. So people wanted to know, what was this 911 call or this distress tow call? TMZ painted this call as if they were panicked, right? So remember when he did the part where he said, the boat was filling up and there was water coming into the boat. Let's go to that real quick. So TMZ has framed this as panic, right? TMZ said Nolan Wells' friend seemed panicked when the boat they were on started taking on water, struggling to answer a tow service dispatcher's basic questions in newly released audio. And then the headline over the video says, Nolan Wells' friend, hear his panicked emergency call. My boat is sinking off Horn Island.
So Assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd you
Hello?
say? Hey,
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
it's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right, well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on that.
You know, if the boat is sinking, if there's water coming into the boat, then you know if the boat is over your foot. I mean, if the water is over your foot, if it's over your ankle, if it's coming up to your knees. That's what she's asking you. Like, how much water is in the boat? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's sinking though. Like, what?
Count, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership like guaranteed. I don't
All
have the
right,
tag
unless
on
you
here.
have a
It got ripped
membership
off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right, and is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right, do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right, do you have your current GPS?
No, we do not need that. You're sinking. Why don't you need the Coast Guard in case you sink? Did somebody tell you to make this call just in case?
coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir, I'm available.
North 30 degrees. By 4672.
All right, 4672. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
Yeah, we do not have the VHF radio.
All right, well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, it looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island. Yes.
All right, is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
All right, so that's where it cuts and then it starts back over. But you hear what he said when it cut? We were, past tense. We were sinking. We were. So that means maybe they did have a boat issue, but they didn't have a boat issue at that time. Because you're not sinking anymore. That's why you can't give her any of those answers, because you ended the call by saying we were sinking. Past tense. Let's listen to that call one more time and then we'll go back to the interview.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
Listen to the background too.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
Did somebody just yell, get up, get the F up? Somebody, I didn't even catch that the first time. Somebody said, get up, get the F up.
What'd you
Hello?
say? Hey,
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir? How can I help you?
hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir?
He said, get up, get the F up. This is Instagram on my MacBook. It's not going to let me, I just have to refresh and then start it over.
Vicky speaking. How can I? CETO assistance. Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles.
What'd
Hello?
you say? Hey,
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
it's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't
All
have the
right.
tag
Unless
on
you
here.
have a
It got ripped
membership
off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Is this the same one or hold on, let me see.
There are new details. CETO assistance, Vicky. There are new details. CETO assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west.
There are new details. CETO assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Oh my
Hey,
God.
we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course.
All right, of course. Hold on, let me see if
One
this
more
is.
time to make sure I have it correct.
And then west by 88.
Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island.
Oh, I think this is the same call. How long the y'all saying there's a extended call? How long is the other call? We'll get back to that.
True or not?
Absolutely not. I hung out with Nolan probably like 3 days a week. I mean, seriously, at least. Some days my friends want to hang out every single day, and Nolan was always there. So,
And obviously, people may see this and know the facts later
Right.
that you weren't able to go to the funeral or the memorial service.
right.
Why didn't you go? What was that?
Well, I mean, with everything going on social media right now, and with people saying the crazy things that they're saying, I would never want to take the attention off of Nolan and his family. They don't deserve that. And, for own personal reasons, I mean, I've gotten thousands of death threats. My family's got thousands of death threats. And, for my own safety, I'm not going to put my own health and safety at risk. It breaks my heart that I can't go, and it hurt me more than anything because obviously I want to say my last goodbyes to one of my best friends. But I mean, if I'm getting thousands of death threats of people saying they're going to kill me and do crazy things to my family and I couldn't bring myself to go because, I got to put my own safety first.
I gotta remember the script. Like, shut up. You could tell those are like talking points fed to him. All right, so he wanted to know, and I'm just repeating what we already saw. It says, did you have anything to do with Nolan's death? And then that's what he was just replying to. And he says, of course not. And absolutely not. And then he says, they say that you guys deleted stuff out of his phone. Did you delete anything out of Nolan's phone? No, of course not. The mom act like, or at least she portrayed on television, And the rumors are that you weren't really good friends with Nolan. Is that true or not? And then he replies and he says, absolutely not. I hung out with Nolan probably like 3 days a week. I mean, seriously, at least some days my friends want to go hang out every single day, and Nolan was always there. So, and obviously people may see this and know that the facts later that you weren't able, and then it just stopped right there. And then it, because this is all of these videos are heavily edited, so it'll jump from one to the next. And then it says, you weren't able to go to the funeral or the memorial service, right? Why didn't you go? What was that? And then he says, well, I mean, with everything going on, social media right now, with people saying the crazy things that they're saying, I would never want to take the attention off of Nolan and his family. They don't deserve that. And, for my own personal reasons, I mean, I've gotten thousands of death threats. My family's got thousands of death threats. And, for my own safety, I'm not going to put my own health and safety at risk. It breaks my heart that I can't go. And it hurt me more than anything because I know, obviously, I want to say my last goodbyes to one of my best friends. But I mean, if I'm getting thousands of death threats of people saying they're going to kill me and do crazy things to my family, and I just couldn't bring myself to go because, I got to put my own safety first. And even if that means, missing my friend's funeral, I mean, it's horrible. And I wish I could have been there. But, that's what's been going on, And then Ruckus says, and, you guys, and I think this is the first time you've publicly gave a statement about this. And obviously you're doing it with me. We're going to put it out there for the world. Why did you choose to do it now? And why did you choose not to speak to anybody but me? Right? So remember, in the beginning of his intro and his sale of this, right? When he was going on his press tour for this interview, he said, I'm the only one that would talk to them. Nobody would talk to them. But then now he's saying, boost my ego up and tell, this is my conclusion of what that says. Basically, to me, I gather that he's saying, boost my ego up to the heights, make me look good to them that I got their back and I'm going to curate the narratives for them. Why'd you choose me? Was it because I was a good house? Or what? What? Why was I the acceptable? Am I one of the good ones?
Publicly gave a statement about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And obviously you're doing it with me. We're going to put it out there for the world. Why did you choose to do it now? And why did you choose to not speak to anybody but me?
Right. Okay. Well, Officer Tatum, I've been watching you for a good while now. And, I think you're a great guy. You've kind of, ever since things got really hot, you've kind of been on my friends and I's side. And I really like that about you. I mean, I thought you were very confident and well-spoken, and I really enjoyed that. And all my friends and I watch you. We all think you're great. We love your faith with the Lord. We try to be closer and closer with the Lord every day. And so did Nolan, and, that we just really liked the way you spoke about us and how you took our side, not based off someone's agenda, and,
Yet this whole interview was an agenda. You took our side. Yeah, that's why we went over there, because we know how much you desperately want our approval. We know how much you're going to bootlick. We know how much you're going and you're willing to bend over for the narrative to make us look a certain way. And we know that you're the only one that's not going to really press us and ask us the really pressing questions and make us answer those questions, we know that you're going to kiss our feet and spin this the best way possible, you know? And we totally love Black people, you know? Look, Nolan was our friend, and look, we're going to you, this Black guy who hates Black people, you know? We love you, you know, we love you. And even though all of your content is tearing down the Black community, self-hating Black people, and being a white supremacist bootlicker, that's the stuff we like. We watch that type of stuff. But we want the world to know, and we're sending a message to the world that this isn't about race, and we're not this. But we went to the most racist, self-hating Negro to tell the message. We went to the one person that hates his own skin and makes it very abundantly clear that he Black people. We choose you. And it's like, get the out of here. Okay. But I mean, it's very telling. I mean, I would suspect a judge's son in Mississippi to like the likes of Officer Tatum. I would suspect those people in his friend group, the parents and the likes of them, to like a certain type of Officer Tatum. It's like a stimulus package. Have you ever noticed that people like Officer Tatum and even his white counterparts, they always have a token in their group? You know, look at Charlie. His token was Candace. He had, you know, they always despise Black people, but they always have the token that they go to, right? So if you look at anybody who is MAGA, and they all have the same talking points, they have the same views, they all have the same token and the same ideology. And it's like, to me, it sounds like, I don't want to disrespect the dead, because he should not be dead at this moment. But it's always that package. You get what I'm saying? Like, all the time. It's always that package. Like, I witnessed it in person when I was in Texas. Like, these people always have a token. And then it's never a neutral type of, because, you know, there are several Black people or people of color that don't see race, right? They're not racist. They love white people, Asian people. They love everybody the same. The people that these types have as their token, it's never a diverse type of Black person. It's always the self-hating Negro that does anything for Zaddy and does anything for their approval. Like, it's always a certain type. It's never, you know, because there's Black people that hang out with white people and have white friends and all of that, and they have Black friends and they have white friends, and they're open-minded, and, you know, they're welcoming. That's never their friend. That's never their Black friend. It's always the one who is the person that despises Black people the same that they do. But anyways, let's continue. But I mean, it's no shock that a judge in Mississippi's son likes the likes of you.
On my friends and I's side, and I really like that about you. I mean, I thought you were very confident and well-spoken, and I really enjoyed that. And
they're always the most hateful people, but they claim that they love God. Like, they literally hate groups of people, but they swear that they're the godliest, most Christianist people, but they are like evil, judgmental, hateful, but they always praise the Lord. And I always wonder, what Lord are y'all serving? What God are you serving? Who is this God? It ain't the God that I serve or the God that I know. It must be a different type. It must be a MAGA God or something. I don't know. But it's never, they always, yeah, and you love, like, they always have this speech of, I'm a Christian. It's like a MAGA starter pack. Say you're a Christian, despise Black people. What else? What else, chat? What else? Claim you're a Christian, despise Black people. What else? What else? What else is a pack of what else is their starter pack? What else is their starter pack? Like, child, it's a mess.
All my friends and I watch you. We all think you're great. We love your faith with the Lord.
Faith with the Lord.
We try to be closer and closer with the Lord every day, and so did Nolan. And that we just really liked the way you spoke about us and how you took our side, not based off someone's agenda and based off of race, because I mean that's a horrible thing.
Was this about race? Did this have anything to do with race as far as from your perspective?
Absolutely not. I mean, Nolan's been a great friend of mine since 8th grade. Nolan isn't my only friend of color, and I have plenty of friends through high school and friends I have now, not just Nolan, who are Black, Mexican. I've never looked at that, and none of my friends ever have. Like, and if you do, that's disgusting.
And if you had a chance to,
and that's all their talking points, right? That's literally their talking points. I love everybody. Like, I love Black people. I love people of color. That's their talking points, but their actions are always opposite, right? Like, these people who swear that they don't see color and they got friends of color, the colored people are their friends. Look at the statements that they put on social media. Look at the stuff that they agree with, that they like, and that they repost. It's always given, I hate certain people just because. But whenever they do like their talking points, I see no color. I love people of color. I got colored friends. Like, shut up.
Tell the world that have painted this picture of you and your friends as being potential murderers of Nolan, white supremacists, racists. What would you want the world to know if you can summarize to them in a very short paragraph or a few sentences?
Yeah.
What would you want to say to them if you had the opportunity?
All right, we're going to switch to text. All right, it says, what would you want the world to know if you can summarize to them in a very short paragraph or a few sentences? What would you want to say to them if you had the opportunity? And he says, I would want to say to them that my family and I are praying for y'all. I can never bring myself to tell somebody that I'm going to kill them and that I'm going to, I've received and my family's received absolutely horrible threats about this. And, I just want people to know that our faith with the Lord is stronger and means more to us than anything. And we all trust in the Lord, and for the Lord to reveal the truth. And I know that's what will happen because I have faith and my family has faith. But I want people to know that I'm praying for them. If they want to speak hate and speak, these horrible things, then I mean, you're obviously not in the right state of mind and you need to work on yourself. It's a horrible thing. And but race was never a thing between Nolan and I and my friends. I mean, I have friends in my friend group that are Mexican and mixed black. He had to make sure that he showed the difference, right? He couldn't just say I got friends that are black, because I wonder if to him that it makes them acceptable that they have like half, white or half like whatever. Because he's like distinctive in that. Like, I got friends that are mixed with black. It's like, huh? Let me go to that part.
And if they want to speak hate and speak, these horrible things, the truth, and I know that's what will happen because I have faith and my family has faith, but I want people to know that I'm praying for them. And if they want to speak hate and speak, these horrible things, and I mean, you're obviously not in the right state of mind and you need to work on yourself. It's a horrible.
And mind you, there's crazy edits. You see how it jumped from they're going to speak hate and then it just jumped.
Thing. And, but race was never a thing between Nolan and I and my friends. I mean, I have friends in my friend group that are Mexican and, mixed black. I mean, that's never mattered. And I think it's just absolutely
mixed black. Shut up. I mean, I have friends in my friend group that are Mexican and, mixed black. I mean, that's never mattered. I think it's just absolutely disgusting that people try to make this narrative out of something it's absolutely not. First off, and out of something that they have zero facts about. Jackson County hasn't released any facts there. There haven't been any facts about this case other than that, just timelines and, stuff like that. But it's horrible that people made this out to be something that it's absolutely not. And it's disgusting in my opinion. Was Nolan he says, was Nolan the only black person on the island? This is what Ruckus is asking. And then he says, absolutely not. I saw a lot of black people. And it's not pointed out or anything. I mean, I wasn't looking at that, but my buddy Tristan was out there and he's mixed. Javon was out there. He came out. He's mixed. I know a bunch of my friends that are black that were out there that day that I haven't even mentioned. I mean, there was no one I think this was supposed to be Nolan. Nolan was not the only black person out there by any means. There was thousands of people out there, white, Mexican, black, everyone, and in my friend group is Nolan, and then he put, this is what Ruckus says, sorry. And in the friend group, is Nolan the only black person in the friend group? And then he says, absolutely not. My buddy Tristan's black. I have other friends of color. I mean, our friend group is very tight. And, we have not small group of guys, but we have we have 10 to 12 guys in my friend group. And, we're all from Ocean Springs. And, we grew up together. But Nolan is not the only black guy in my friend group by any means. And everybody knows that. There's controversy. And then this is what Ruckus says. There's controversy around the CETO, right? You guys called it in. They have that record of you guys, making that emergency call, right? And then he says, but then there's this, I guess, graphic of you guys traveling at sea at a slow speed. Then all of a sudden you accelerate, right? And then it says, people are saying that's an indication of something afoot or foul play going on in that timeline. What do you have to say to the naysayers who were mentioning that something just must have happened, that you guys were going slow and then you accelerated all of a sudden. Let me go to that timestamp.
What do you have to say to the naysayers who are mentioning that something must have happened, that you guys were going slow, then you accelerated all of a sudden?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not. We got towed probably a quarter mile. Like I said, my buddy Bart drove his boat up next to ours after he pulled us out away from the island. And then he towed us a little more while we were trying to get the motor figured out. I mean, the motor would trim down. So then eventually, and the motor wouldn't trim down. And so eventually we figured out if you held the manual trim on the motor will stay in the water even when you start to accelerate. Because when my
Wait, so they didn't get a tow from the tow company? They got a tow from Bart? Let me go back. Did he say if they... He said specifically about Cito.
Mentioning that something must have happened, that you guys were going slow, then you accelerated all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not. We got towed probably a quarter mile. Like I said, my buddy Bart drove his boat up next to ours after he pulled us out away from the island. And then he towed us a little more while we were trying to get the motor figured out. I mean, the motor would trim down. So then eventually, and the motor wouldn't trim down. And so eventually we figured out if you held the manual trim on the motor will stay in the water even when you start to accelerate. Because when my buddy would put the boat in gear and forward, the motor would come right back up. So it trimmed down, but then it'd come right back up when you went to go put it in forward and drive off. So
He says that his buddy Bart told them. And thank you, Clue, for the super chat. Now, Clue is MAGA, and we be tearing Clue up when he come up in here, but he always so nice and so gracious. Thank you, Clue. They said, why did they call a boat tow service? Right, like they called this service, but Bart was towing them. Make it make sense. You said no, you don't. I'm nice to you, Clue, but my chat be tearing you up though. My chat do. They be cooking you a little bit, but I be coming in between, like, he MAGA, but let him live, y'all. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, so what was I saying? So they called this tow service, but Bart told them out. So people are trying to figure out, why did y'all call this tow service if y'all didn't even use the tow service? Let's listen to this call one more time.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd
Hello?
you say? Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right, well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir?
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like, guaranteed. I don't have the tag
unless
on
you
here.
have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not
What?
need that.
Like rude?
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
North 30 degrees. But 4672.
All right, 4672. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So
Like,
you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
Like, who is you talking to, sir, with all this what and all of that? Like,
Yeah, we do not have a VHF radio.
All right, well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify?
somebody in the chat says They said, hello, Neek. Is it just me or he sounds like he mutes the phone when the background gets loud? I'm not sure. I know that the when he gives like a phone number, they have to mute the call to redact the number. So there's redactions that we're hearing because they can't expose a person's number. But if there's other parts that gets muted, maybe, I don't know. But I know for sure, like for the phone number, when he's given like a phone number and where to text in a call, stuff like that.
Your coordinates one more time.
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, it looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island. Yes.
All right, is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
CTO assistant, Vicky speaking.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe he is muting it. Maybe, I don't know. All right.
Yeah, we stopped at one point. My buddy pulled the plug out the boat, got back in the boat. They captured the boat, got in the water, pulled the plug out the boat, got back in the boat, and hit it. And like I said earlier, we all transferred our weight to the front. So, because there was so much water in the back of the boat that when my buddy had it pinned out all the way, trying to go as fast as we can, and the boat was still sitting like this on the water. Wouldn't have been planed out. So we had to move all the way to the front of the boat. Everybody had to get on the bow, and eventually we planed. Everybody got sat back. And when you're on plane and you're going, water starts coming out the boat. Like that's the whole reason he pulled the plug, because when you come out the water and you're on plane and the boat's level, water starts coming out the boat. So, I mean, that's why we came to a stop, so he could jump in the water, pull the plug, and then we hauled in. There was no stopping, because if you do stop, the water starts coming back in the boat because the plug's out. So
there's nothing nefarious there. It's just a formality of trying to unplug the boating.
All right. So I'm not sure. I know some of you guys are like, so what video is he talking about? I'm not sure, but this, I believe, is the still image from that video that Attorney Crump is posting. So I guess this is supposed to be like a still image. And people have been trying to dissect this because it's very pixelated and everything. But people were honing in on what looks like maybe a black leg hanging over. Now, I'm not really sure if this is really them or if this is what's in question, but people were saying like, okay, is that like a black leg? Like, what is that? And then people were trying to make out what the figures are on this. So I'm not sure where the actual video is, but this is what Attorney Crump posted. And it says, sharing from Ma Houston via threads. And then it says, they quote where Warren says, Nolan was cradling the girl on his lap the last time I saw. And then it says, Warren to Cito, he said, 7 living, breathing people on board. When he was asked how many souls were on board repeatedly. And then it says, looks like Nolan with the girl on Wyatt's boat on his lap, not on the island, and 7 people on board. So this is what Crump posted. And I guess this is supposed to be their boat. Again, I'm not sure if this is from a video, if this is a still image or what this is exactly. But this is something that Crump reposted. All right, so he says, and like I said earlier, we all move towards we all move and we transferred our weight to the front. So there's so much water in the back of the boat, and that when my buddy had it pinned out all the way, trying to go as fast as we can, and the boat was still sinking like this on the water, not wouldn't even plan out. So we had to move all the weight to the front of the boat. Everybody had to get on the bow, and eventually we planed. Everybody got set back, and when you're on a plane and you're going, water starts coming out of the boat. Like, that's the whole reason he pulled the plug, because when you come out the water and you're on the plane and the boat is level, water start coming out of the boat. So, I mean, that's why we came to a stop, so he could jump in the water, pull the plug, and then we hauled it. We hauled in, There was no stopping, because you do stop, the water starts coming back in the boat because the plug's out. So he says, so there's nothing nefarious there, just the formality of trying to unplug the boat. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have been on a boat before. I've been on a boat where they like punched it. Okay. And I got scared as hell, because out of nowhere, we're in the ocean, and it was me and my homegirls. We was on this guy's boat, and he started trying to show off, right? And if at the moment when they punch it in that water and you kind of hit like a wave or whatever, you can fall out of a boat. Okay? So if they are trying to unplug a bow, he hops in, and then they punch it, and then they just go super fast, and they're trying to jet off, you could fall off of a boat. So I want to know, when you guys did this, was it true that Nolan wasn't on the boat? And was there another accident? And maybe it could have been a freak accident and he fell out of the boat. But that can happen, okay? Where you trying to unplug it and get back in. And mind you, when he talked about when Nolan was outside of the boat, he said that him and the girl were just outside of the boat. So could it be that you guys are trying to plug the boat, unplug the boat, hop in? Nolan, he's hanging out with the girl, right? So he's outside of the boat and he's hanging out with the girl. You plug the bow and unplug and get on the bow and plane the boat, or whatever these terms that he says. And then you guys punch it, and Nolan is outside the boat. Maybe at this time he's not cradling, because the last time you saw him cradling was at 3. But the last time that he left, or y'all left, was at 4. So could it be at this time that they're not cradling anymore? You said that your friend was yelling for him to get on the boat, get on the fucking boat. And then y'all unplug the plug, hop on and skirt off. Could y'all have knocked him out with the boat or hit him with the boat and kept going and get out of Dodge? We need to see the forensics of this boat. We need to see the data and everything, because the way that he tries to downplay it is, nothing nefarious about that, right? Like that's not nothing unusual. I mean, that's just normal, right? You just hurry up and jet out of there.
Absolutely not.
Get it docked properly.
Correct. I mean, we were just trying to solve the boat's issues, because we wouldn't have ever gone anywhere if the boat wasn't figured out. So,
and Nolan being a really good friend of yours, really good friend of all of you guys, some of you guys have been accused of killing him. I mean, obviously he was somebody you knew, somebody you spent a lot of time with. With all that has gone on, if Nolan was here, what do you think he would say about all this?
All right. And so all throughout this press tour, Brandon Ruckus, whoever the I need approval, he has been saying, oh, Nolan would be ashamed of his parents making this a race thing. Nolan would turn up if he knew his family was searching for answers with Crump. So this is him again trying to boost his ego and trying to get him to answer or debunk a narrative that it's okay for the family to be doing what they're doing to search for answers. This is a way for him to try to get him to take a jab at his family, disparage his best friend's family, and bolster his audience that he's rallied up with this idea that them searching for answers, because clearly they're not giving him answers. This is a way for him to bolster that he wouldn't be happy. He would not like that. Like he's getting him to, you've been watching, so repeat what I've been telling the people on what he would think. Like that's what it's giving to me. So he says, so some of you guys have been accused of killing him. I mean, obviously, he was somebody you knew, somebody you spent a lot of time with. With all that has gone on, if Nolan was here, what do you think he would say to all this? And then he says, I think Nolan has the most, Nolan was one of the best men I ever met. I mean, he has an amazing heart. And like I said in the beginning, Nolan is one of the nicest and sweetest people I've ever met. I mean, seriously, he had he had no hate in his heart whatsoever, I think if Nolan knew this was going on, he'd be sick to his stomach. I mean, it's Nolan. Hated all hate. He hated arguing and drama. He didn't like any of that. So I think Nolan knew if Nolan knew this was going on, he'd be very upset. It's horrible. If he knew his friends were getting threats and we were, felt threatened for our lives, Nolan would be traumatized if he was here. Like, and if he knew that, he was not he was not Nolan was not a person of no violence. And, he had a really good heart. He would hate it. And then Ruckus says, you think your friendship with Nolan inspired you to want to speak out? And then he says, of course. I know Nolan. And like I said, I've been really tight with Nolan since the 8th grade. And he's a best friend of mine. He's like a brother. And Nolan's the type of guy to fight back for what's right and fight for the truth. And I know Nolan would tell me if he was here to fight back and make sure the truth is out and make sure your word is out, because that's what matters most. And then Ruckus says, so after all that's been said in this interview, do you have any theories about what could have possibly happened to Nolan? He says, my buddies and I have talked about it. And I've been on the water my entire life. My friends have. It's not like we're unexperienced in this, but Nolan was my best friend and he was best friends. And he was, what the, does that have to, you already said that he was your best friend. We don't believe you. You need more people, because it's like, who are you trying to convince? Us or you. He didn't ask if Nolan was your best friend. You already said that. You said that over and over. You said it so much to the point I feel like you don't even believe it. You're trying to convince yourself, because clearly you already told us that he was your best friend. You already said that. What do you think happened? What happened to your friend? Not this story of how you're besties. I mean, we need a Nolan is my best friend counter. I need to sit through part 1, 2, 3, and 4 and count the amount of, and put a Nolan is my best friend counter on the screen. At this point,
Well, he didn't like any of that. So, I mean, I think if Nolan knew this was going on, he'd be very, very upset. I mean, it's horrible. If he knew his friends were getting these threats and, we were, felt threatened for our lives, I mean, Nolan would be traumatized if he was here. Like, and if he knew that, like, I mean, he was a person of no violence, and, he had a really good heart. He would hate it.
You think your friendship with Nolan inspired you to want to speak out?
Of course. I mean, I know Nolan, and like I said, I've been really tight with Nolan since 8th grade, and he's a best friend of mine. He's like a brother, and Nolan's the type of guy to fight back for what's right and fight for the truth. And I know Nolan would tell me if he was here to fight back and make sure the truth is out.
all right, so you see that's what he said for that question. And then when he asked another question, that's how he starts the other question. That's how, in my opinion, I don't know if he was coached or not, but it sounds like, make sure you let him know that that's your best friend. And you know what I mean? Like, make sure you hit this beat. Like, you got to hit the beat. You got to hit the buzzword. The audience that needs bare minimum to be convinced, they're going to eat that up. The people that need the absolute bare minimum, okay, and not going to use critical thinking skills, they're going to love that. Oh, yeah, you're innocent. Of course, you're his best friend. I totally believe you. Like, you said that he was your best friend 1,000 times in 20 minutes. Like, of course you love him. You're such a good, genuine boy. That's what the comments say under Ruckus's YouTube, by the way.
And make sure your word is out, because that's what matters most.
So after all that's been said in this interview, do you have any theories about what could have possibly happened to Nolan?
My buddies and I have talked about it. And like I said, I mean, I've been on the water my entire life. My friends have. It's not like we're unexperienced in this, but Nolan was my best friend. And
Nolan was my... Like, what do you think happened? Me and my buddies talked about it. Remember I said that Nolan was my best friend, right? Don't. What do I think happened? Remember I told you that, like, me and Nolan was close, right? What do you think happened? Do you remember when I told you that we've been best buds since the 8th grade? It's like when he has to keep, like, stick to the script, stick to the script, stick to the script, stick to the script, stick to the, it's given teleprompter. Are you looking at a teleprompter off the screen that we can't see or something? Like, are these questions pre-typed and you like, is there, what are you looking at exactly? Are you looking at Tatum, or is there a prompter behind him? What's going on here? This is crazy. This is ludicrous. This is nuts. Like, what? My buddies and I have talked about it. And like I said, I mean, I've been on the water my entire life. My friends have, it's not like we're unexperienced in this, but Nolan was my best friend. And he was my friend's best friend. And he was like a brother to me. And more than anything, and the thing that's most important is what happened to him. And I mean, I want to know just as much as anybody else. I mean, that's all like my friends haven't stopped talking about, that like what happened, and like just trying to figure it out. But I would never want to put it on somebody else because of the hate that I received for just being out there around them, and my name getting brought up because I called the Coast Guard. I was the first one to call the Coast Guard. I mean, I don't know. And I want to know more than anybody. I mean, my friends and I are like have been wondering this for a while. And we just want to know as much as anybody else what happened to him. But I would never want to sit here and blame anybody else and put this on anybody else. He didn't ask you to blame anybody. Hello? Do you think he was murdered? Because they're saying that it was just a drowning. So if you thought that he drowned, then that's not putting it on anybody. Or do you think he was murdered? Because he said, what do you think happened? He didn't ask, do you think Bart, the other buddy, murdered him? Do you think Wyatt killed him? He didn't ask you that. He said, what do you think happened? What do you think happened? Not who do you think murdered him? Now, if he said, do you think Bart murdered him? Then that response would make sense, right? Like that response would mean, no, I don't want to blame anybody else. I don't want to, just because I was blamed, I don't want to put it on. Then that would make sense if that was the question. That wasn't the question. That's not what he asked. Like, what are we doing here? What's going on? He said, but I would never want to sit here and blame anybody else and put this on anybody else because of the hate and death threats that my family and my friends have received. It's horrible. And I would never want someone else to like experience that, Yeah. And then Ruckus. Yeah, especially if there's no evidence to it. Exactly. And then he goes and he says, so I got two more things that I want to address directly. It's been said out there that you guys immediately delete your social media and you lawyered up as if you were in some type of fear that you would be implicated in this. Why would you, what do you say to that? I mean, and then this is what he said. He said, of course we lawyered up. Let me go to that timestamp. Oops.
My friends and I are like very experienced that,
Delete your social media, lower it up as if you were in some type of fear that you would be implicated in this. What do you say to that?
I mean, of course we lowered up, and of course I deleted my social media. I was getting death threats before anything ever came out because I was the one that called the Coast Guard. I mean, people put this all on me because I was the one that called. I was the one that was, worried. My friends were just as well. I mean, of course I deleted all my social media. I was getting insane death threats, like stuff I couldn't even believe 2 days after. And, we went straight to the police. I wanted the police to come and ask questions. I wanted them to know and have all of my information. And, I mean, people were accusing me of murdering my best friend. It's sick. I mean, like, just because of race. I mean, it's disgusting.
No, just because you were horrible friends. Not just because of race, because you guys get on an island and you left him and he didn't make it back and you have no explanation for it. Just because of race, just because of, like, we're getting these death threats because we're white. And how dare they? He says and we went straight to the police. I wanted the police to come and ask questions. I wanted them to know and have all of my information. And I mean, people were accusing me of murdering my best friend. It's sick. I mean, like, just because of race. I mean, it's disgusting. It makes me sick, like sick to my stomach. I mean, I obviously I got off social media because there were people saying insane things to me and my family. And I just couldn't sit there and look at it. And I mean, that's it. And then Ruckus says, and Warren, thank you so much, man, for being bold and courageous, for telling your story. The purpose of me doing this and flying down here is because I wanted to know for myself. I always felt that the narrative that was out there wasn't quite complete. And then he says, it seems like there was a rush to judgment. And I know that you could have taken the opportunity to say, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm afraid for my life. And I'm just not going to put my neck out there. But I applaud you and appreciate you for stepping up, for doing what Nolan would be proud of you doing. And that is putting the word out there and not letting the naysayers run with the narrative of. And then he says, of course. And you being a young guy, I'm much older than you. I could take the punches, right? And then he says, I love dishing it out. But for you as a young man to really put your neck out there, to stand up for your friends and stand up for Nolan is very honorable. And I appreciate you doing this interview with me. And then he says, well, I appreciate you. I mean, you being here and flying down has meant a lot. And I just wanted to get my story out there because I know that's what Nolan would want me to do. And I want the truth to come out. And I pray that the good Lord reveals the truth in everybody. So thank you, Brandon. And then he says, appreciate you, man. And then that's it. And we didn't get any evidence. We didn't get anything that proves anything. The only thing that we got was what he said. And what he said was heavily edited. Okay. That video got more cuts and transitions and everything edited down, and he's talking and then it'll jump to something and, all kind of crap. Heavily edited. No true clarifying questions asked. He asked him very pointed things, and the pointed things that he asked never had a pointed, direct answer. It was always beating around the bush and going around the world and I. And he never brung it back. No, I asked you, at what time did you know that you had his phone? Why didn't y'all call Katie? when you thought Nolan was missing and you wanted to call the Coast Guard, did you ever call Nolan's phone to find out? At what point did you realize that it was at Wyatt's phone? Why didn't you guys know before 11 p.m. that he had the phone? Why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, more clarifying things. No, it was just buzzwords of, well, everybody keeps their phone on the boat. That's completely normal. Anybody who goes boating knows that you keep the phone on the boat, and you don't get in the water and you don't get in the water with the boat and blah 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 blah. We know that if you're out on the boat and you hop into the water, you're not going to take your phone. We want to know, why did you guys decide to leave and he not have his phone? And then he always makes these statements. I know 50 people who were there that went on one boat and then they left on another boat. I know 50 people. You went with 20 to 30 people, but you can name 50 people that all got on one boat and 50 people who all got on another boat. Then, it's several people. Yeah, was Nolan's phone the only phone that was left on the boat? Yeah, it was other people's phone. Like, more people had phones on the boat. And I mean, well, all of me and my buddies, we all had our phone. Like, what are you saying here? And Ruckus never made him who exactly else left their phone on the boat? He wasn't looking for answers or looking for truth. He was looking to give him enough airtime to give his talking points, his buzzwords, and breeze past it. And he knows that his audience, how they despise Black people and they already hate us anyways. So anything to make them feel like they got enough, because they don't even care to know the truth. They just want to know, did I hear enough to say that I can overlook it? That's really it. Like, they don't care about the truth, because if they did, they would be asking questions about things that don't make sense. There's several things that he said that does not make sense. There was several things that he would over explain. Several times when he asked him a specific question and he replies with, well, Nolan was my best friend, and da 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 da. Like, no, he was not your best friend. And he would over explain things. Like, he wanted to know, and one of it was like the first, second, I don't know, whichever one, but he wanted to know what he asked him something about when they went to Horn Island that day, or the day on Horn Island, or it was something. And then he was like, I went to McDonald's. I woke up in the morning. I went to McDonald's. Nolan wasn't with me, but I went, and then the boat was hooked up. Like, all of these unnecessary details. I went to McDonald's, and it's like he's trying to lead the investigator to places to make himself be innocent. Like, look, if you go to McDonald's, like, I wasn't even with Nolan at that time, but it's like, it just ridiculous stuff that he was offering that just was crazy. Now, in the midst of all of this, Katie has been identified. So for a long time, people were like, who's Katie? Who's this girl that he was left with? Well, apparently the New York Post has an article from her sister, and she made it seem as though she was speaking for her sister's behalf. All right. So let me pull up the New York Post article. Who child? These places, they know how to flood the dang these sites know how to flood the freaking hold on, let me try to do some screenshots because these ads is off the chart. Hold on. Oh wait, was this an article from the Daily Mail? Hold on. Let me go to the Daily Mail. All right, I guess this was a Daily Mail exclusive. I thought it was a New York Post exclusive. Let's go here. All right. I don't like being tiny like that. Like, make me a little bigger. Like, what? Okay. So it says mystery woman Nolan Wells' friend says he was chatting to when they left the island is identified, and her sister shares conflicting account that has troubled the Black teen's family. All right. So it says, I'm not subscribing. What the hell? Anyways, let's go back to the New York Post because we are not subscribing to the Daily Mail. Child, I was trying to go there because it was their exclusive. But anyways, child, we're not subscribing. We're not paying for the damn Daily Mail. All right, so it says mystery girl Nolan Wells had reportedly stayed behind to chat with on Horn Island before he vanished has been identified, but the revelation and new conflicting accounts have only led to more questions about his death. Wells, 18, had boated to the island, located 10 miles off of Mississippi Gulf Coast, with a group of close friends on July 4th when his pals left without him, reportedly because the college football star stayed to talk to a girl revealed to be Katie McCormick, who is 19. So as you can see right here, this is Katie. All right. So this is the woman, because there was a lot of people who wanted to know what was her race, right? People were like, was she white? Was she black? Was she Hispanic? Who's Katie? And what is she? And was there a jealous ex, a angry father, angry brother that she was talking to Nolan? And then people wanted to know, could it be that they were racist and didn't want sweet little Katie talking to a black boy? Or was Katie also black and this was something else? Like, people wanted to know if that could be the component. And they revealed that Katie McCormick is 19 years old. And this is her right here. And it says Nolan Wells had reportedly stayed behind on Horn Island to chat with Katie McCormick, who's 19. And they even posted her Facebook. We'll probably try to see if that's still up and running. Let me copy that. And then it says, but McCormick's sister provided different accounts of what happened during the fateful trip than what Wells' friends have provided. The teen had spent 5 hours celebrating the 4th of July with hundreds of other college students on Horn Island when late in the afternoon, his friends started to panic as their boat was taken on water and had to rush back to the island before it sank. It says, well, apparently, told his pals to go back to the mainland without him. According to his friends, Wells told them to make the trip back to the mainland without him as he was engrossed in conversation with McCormick, the outlet reported. Ashley Cole, the mother of Wells' best friend Warren Hudson, who was on the island at the time, released a statement on July 7th saying that the group of friends returned to the mainland after their boat had a problem with the bilge pump, but Wells stayed back. However, McCormick's 23-year-old sister Gracie disputes the claims that Wells remained on the island to talk to her. According to Gracie, McCormick thought Wells would have boated back to the mainland with his friends. All right. So again, this is Katie. All right. And this is a picture of her, and they want to make it clear that, you know, Katie is not suspected of any foul play. So it says Katie McCormick, 19, was talking to Wells on Horn Island before he disappeared. McCormick is not suspected of any wrongdoing. And then they put these quotes, and it says, Katie had a conversation and assumed that Nolan was getting ready to get on the boat he came out on. Gracie told the Daily Mail. Katie assumed the friends telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him, she added. McCormick, who hails from a few towns east of Ocean Springs where Wells lived, was on the island with a different group of friends and was eventually taken home by her brother Tony and his fiancee Ava. So this is Katie right here. And then it says, we have given all the answers we can give to his mom and authorities, the sister added. There was no suggestion of wrongdoing on McCormick's part. Although McCormick had not spoken publicly since Wells disappeared and later found dead, she replied to a social media post defending her, the publication reported, and she said, "What's understood don't have to be said. I love y'all. Just pray for his family and his friends." And that's what Katie wrote. And this is a picture of Nolan. And then she says, I'm good and all, and I'm good. And all I can do is pray for healing over them. This is a terrible situation, all in all. However, the conflicting accounts between people who were on the island interacting with Wells have sparked concern for the grieving family, who hired top civil rights lawyer Ben Crump to investigate. She's saying she went and got on the boat. They say he didn't get on the boat. So which is it? Crump previously told reporters. And it says, the fact that you have the young lady who said that Nolan said that he was going to get on the boat with the boys, and then the boys said that Nolan told them he was going to stay with the girl, somebody must not be telling the truth, is what Crump said. And then they reiterate how Wells' body was found on July 6th on the island. So that is the sister of Katie speaking out. Now, let me see if her Facebook is still active. All right, so this is her Facebook page right here. All right, so this is the Facebook page, the news tags. So it says Pascagoula. I know one of y'all corrected me and y'all said it's pronounced, I don't know, Pascagoula, I think is what y'all said. But anyway, so it shows that she went to Pascagoula High School, and this is her page, and this is the picture that she posted on May 28th. And then this is her last year in April. And this is the other picture that they had. And then this is her friend. She got her little black friend too, child. They always got the black friend, honey. Katie, so this is her as well. So this is her. So she only has like her profile pictures. And then this is her dad right here. Okay. So these are the pictures that the news had posted. Okay, so this is Katie. I'm guessing that's her mom. Yeah, she got her mama face. All right, so this is Katie. All right, so let's see. She got her comments turned off. But she got the, she got the black friends in there, child. Anyways, so that is her. And these are the pictures that we just looked at. So she has her comments turned off, so you can't like make a comment or anything like that. But that's Katie. And so let me see what else. Was there anything else that I was supposed to talk about in this live? What else? I feel like I'm missing something that I was gonna cover too. I can't think, but so that's the latest on that. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Make sure you like the video, share the video, and if y'all want to donate to the channel, y'all know y'all always can Cash App Neek at Night Media. Okay, spelled exactly like my channel. Okay, Night is Nite. If y'all want to throw me a couple of coins, you've been enjoying the show, pay per view and all like that. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna end this live, and I might start a new live about something totally different. So if you guys want to hang out for my next live, then refresh and come back. All right, peace.